Hey guys, welcome back to my channel! If you're new here, my name is Madita, and I was in London last weekend? Yeah, and let me just tell you, I had fun. I went on a couple adventures with my siblings, but I also obviously went to the, drumroll please, bookstore. I obviously have to go to the bookstore, especially when you are in London, where the biggest Waterstones is. I got a total of, I need to count again. I bought a total of 21 books. I know, but you know, I just unhauled 50 books, so obviously I need to fill that empty space with new books. If you read any of them, please tell me if you like any of them. I am honestly very scared because I definitely bought some books that I would have not picked up a couple months ago, but I was quite intrigued by these books at the bookstore, so I bought them. The first book I got is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm kind of going back into my thriller phase, and I honestly thought I had this book already because a couple months ago my mom bought me a book by Holly Jackson, and I looked at my shelf and I realized it wasn't A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, it was As Good as Dead. So obviously I need to read the first book before reading the other books. So A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is a YA thriller mystery book, and in this book Pippa investigates this case that was technically solved 5 years ago, but Pippa believes that everybody blames the wrong guy for Andy's murder. So Andy Bell was murdered 5 years ago, and everybody thinks that she was murdered by her now dead boyfriend Sal, but Pippa thinks that everybody is blaming the wrong guy for Andy Bell's death because she knew Sal 5 years ago and she thinks that he could have never done this. So she decides to make this case new again and try to solve it herself. Now here's a bit of a sad story about this book. I know who the killer is because I was spoiled by a TikTok video. I saw this aesthetic video and I was like, ooh, this is interesting. So I pressed on the hashtag and then no spoiler warning, I just got spoiled. I was like, oh, cool. Am I gonna read it anyways? Yeah. Am I gonna pretend I didn't know who the killer is? Yeah. Am I gonna be like, oh my god, I didn't expect that? Yeah. Fake it till you make it, right? The next book I bought is Hook, Line, and Sinker. This is the sequel to It Happened One Summer. Fox a Fisher and Hannah is this rich girl, obviously, who moved to the small town with her sister, as we know from the last book. So Fox is this playboy, right? He is a hookup type of guy who isn't a fan of serious relationships. He and Hannah meet, obviously, but Hannah isn't really mesmerized by Fox. She just wants to be friends with him, and he's like, okay, kind of confusing why you aren't intimidated by my charm. So they proceed to become roommates, and Hannah has a crush on this guy she works with. Hannah wants to obviously be closer to this man so that he falls in love with her and, you know, relationship, right? Yet over the course of the book, through the forced proximity of living together and being roommates and working together as well, both of them think, are we still friends? Or have we developed feelings for each other? Because Hannah obviously has a crush on a different guy, and Fox is a no relationship type of guy. So have they developed feelings for each other? We don't know, but we'll find out in this book. The next book I bought is The Lucky List by Rachel Lippincott. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. I really like Rachel's books. I read All This Time Before and obviously 5 Feet Apart. So I'm wondering if this book will make me cry too. It's YA, it's sapphic, I'm excited. So this book is about Emily and Blake. Emily has always been very lucky, but she kind of thinks it's because of her mother. So when her mother dies, all of her luck runs out. She's obviously very devastated by this entire event, and she finds this list, a bucket list of her mother. And so she decides to complete these bucket list points. I'm pretty sure there's 12. There's 12 bucket list points she is going to complete to feel closer to her mother again. And she wants to do those with her friend Blake. And over the course of completing these 12 bucket list points, her and Blake start getting closer, and she's a bit confused about this new thing that's happening in her life, for new feelings, and she's a bit worried because she is faced with this new part of her life that her mom doesn't know, and she's a bit scared to accept it now because her mom never knew this part of her existed. I already know I'm gonna cry. This is literally what it says on the back. A novel about loss, love, and discovering who you are. Loss and love. I am scared. Next, I got Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. Funny enough, I have never read a book by Sally Rooney, and I now have 3 books by her. I will be reading them all. I just don't know when because I'm really scared. The opinions about Sally Rooney's books are always either, oh my god, I love them so much, they're the best books on this entire planet, or I don't like these at all, don't read them, why would you ever read these? So I am terrified. Yeah, so this book plays in Dublin, and this book is about Frances, Bobby, Melissa, and Nick. Frances is an aspiring writer, and her best friend Bobby and her used to date. They broke up though, so now they're only friends. And then they meet this married couple, Nick and Melissa, and then I get confused by the description because apparently Nick and Frances start getting attracted to each other and get closer. And I'm like, is there cheating involved? Because it says here, but when Frances and Nick get unexpectedly closer, the sharply witty and emotional averse Frances is forced to honestly confront her own vulnerability for the first time. But it's also called Conversations with Friends, so maybe they're just best friends at the end of this book. Okay, I am actually scared. Next, I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman, and this is about a band and their fans. So I'm expecting a bandmate and fan relationship, and I'm excited. I Was Born for This is also very much, I don't know why, but this reminded me of a Hannah Montana song. Get the limo out front, ooh ah ooh. So this book is about Angel, who is this fan of this band called The Ark, and her and Juliet are part of this fandom, and they're so happy to be part of this fandom because it's apparently very cute, good fandom. Jimmy is a member of the Ark band. He is their frontman. I do not know what a frontman is. I am guessing the singer because front man, you know, front stage. And something happens and Angel and the front man, Jimmy, are thrust together. Hashtag forced proximity. And something changes. I am guessing romance, and I'm guessing they are going to start a relationship. I could also be completely wrong. Then I got All My Rage by Sabah Tahir. I hope I pronounced that correctly. She's the author of An Ember in the Ashes. I'm only halfway through that book, but it is so good so far. I love the world building of that fantasy. Quadret, it's 4 books. I think that's called a quadret, or as a quadrilogy. This book is written in a then and now perspective. We have the then perspective about Sal's parents from when they lived in Pakistan and when they moved them to the US to start over with their life because something happened. And then in the now moments, we go to Sal, who is in a relationship with Noor, but they break up. Sal has to help his family with the motel that his family owns in the present time, while Noor tries to get away from Sal's family and Sal overall and her friends, her life, by applying to colleges in secret because she just wants to move away. She wants to leave this part of her life behind. I am honestly absolutely scared because it says here that they don't know what it takes to defeat the monsters in their past and the ones in their midst. I absolutely love family in books. Family in books is one of my favorite things. Then I went to this little thrift stand on the side of the river and I got 2 books there. Don't ask me why I did this, but I did it anyways. First, I got this collection of Schiller stories. Schiller is a German author, and I was like, oh my god, German, hey! And then I bought this book with a lot of works by Charles Dickens. This one includes American Notes and Pictures from Italy. I like Charles Dickens, so I'm excited to see where these classics lead me, because classics and me, we sometimes clash, but sometimes I like them. So like Jane Austen and me are like this, but then some other books in me are like this. Then I went yet again to a bookstore and I got even more books. One is The Silence of the Girls. I bought this because of the Song of Achilles. So this is about the girl that is supposed to be the bed slave for Achilles after the Queen Helen obviously is kidnapped. So this is about Briseis, who is the bed slave of Achilles, and it's her part of the story, her secrets, and everything about her. So I thought this could be really interesting to read. I also read this stuff in Latin because my Latin teacher forced me to read excerpts of the Troya War. Pure torture. And next I got The Bloater, and this is a short story, but it's romance. So Min works at BBC, and she is currently not loving her life. She keeps forgetting that her husband exists. She turns off the light when he's in the same room, so he's basically invisible to her. At the same time, there's this opera singer who keeps calling her Bloater for some reason. I don't know what that nickname is, but this opera singer is very attracted to Min, and all I can think of is she's kind of disgusted but also intimidated by his pursuing of her. And she's like, do I like him? Do I hate him? What's going on? What's going on? I don't know what's going on either, but I want to know if Min starts dating the opera singer. Then I got this book solely because of the cover. Then I read the back and I was like, wait a second, is this gonna be one of my new favorite books? I don't know. And this book is called Modern Times. And please look at this cover for a second. I'm gonna give you guys a scenario of how this went. I was strolling through the bookstore. I went to the romance section. I was looking. And then all of a sudden I see this light coming from this table. I'm like, what is this? I walk over there and there's this shiny light and this sound coming from everywhere. And there's this book and I'm like, is that a penis? I pick it up, the music is still playing, a flashlight is coming down on me. I'm standing in this middle of this lighty circle. I turn this book around and it says, a woman who loved her husband's cock so much she began taking it to work in her lunchbox. And I was sold. Is this a metaphor to the food she takes in a certain position that it's arranged in? Or did she actually take a body part to lunch? I don't know, but I'm intimidated. And now I need to read this because what is this about? Then I bought the bell jar. I've seen this everywhere, on my Instagram, on my TikTok. And I saw it and I was like, ooh, interesting, let me pick this up. And then I read the back and I was a bit confused because on one hand I thought, is this The Devil Wears Prada, but with a darker theme? But then everybody tells me it's definitely not like that. But then she is a fashion intern at a New York magazine in the summer of 1953. So Esther apparently sees the world. She lives in Shift, like the shimmery fashion magazine, and she sees the crazed men friends and the hot dinner dances, and there's just a lot of things going on. Then I bought a book that I feel like I should have already read and I'm kind of embarrassed that I still haven't, and that's The Alchemist. Everybody and their mother has read this book. I have not. Dreams are meant to be followed. Life is meant to be lived. Some books are meant to be read, loved, and passed on. The Alchemist is one of those books. Was that intriguing? Yes. Did it intrigue me? Yes, indeed it did. Did I then proceed to buy this book? Yes, indeed I did. Do I know what this book's about? No, I do not. And then I got another short story. Don't ask me why I'm into short stories right now, okay? I've been evolving like a cocoon into a butterfly. So I picked up The Body Artist. And honestly, the cover's just kind of cool because it's like, you know, there's like a human, like a girl, and then there's like this man. You know, it's like a woo-woo image. The Body Artist is about a breakfast between a married couple, but then something happens at that breakfast and they tear apart at the end. So I'm guessing he decides to divorce her, and then this book is about her and her grieving process, or that's what I'm thinking. I could also be completely wrong. I usually definitely do not analyze anything correctly. Next I bought this book called The Island of Missing Trees, and this is about fig trees. And if you didn't know, fig trees, or as far as I know, are only edible because a wasp
dies inside of a fig.
Gotta be fully honest, when I found that out, my mind was changed. My world changed. Was the earth flat for a few seconds? It definitely was. This book is about Ada, a 16-year-old girl who lives in London, who has never been to the home island of her parents, and she's trying to find out why her family, or these two families, are torn apart, and what it has to do with trees, and why she has a fig tree in her backyard, and why that's the only thing that she's ever seen from that island. I'm confused, we're all confused, I don't know what's going on. I'm excited to see where there's ghosts and why figs are involved. Maybe it's something about jealousy and property. I don't know. We'll see. And then I have 6 books that don't remind me of anything I've ever read. One is The God of Small Things. The cover is intimidating. I'm intimidated. This book is about Esther and Rael, who are 7-year-old twins who live in this type of bubble world. But then their cousin Sophia arrives and their world is turned upside down. They're exposed to new things, new secrets, the bad side of the world. And also The God of Small Things. Don't know what the title means, but we're excited. Next, I got Memories of the Future. Why did I buy this? The cover. Books and a floating girl. Excuse me? I love books. I would like to be able to float and fly around. I'm not, so why not pick this up? This book is about an aspiring author from Minnesota who moves to New York City to pursue her career. And when she moves to New York City, she unpacks her journals. She has been a girl who wrote everything down in her journals. She always documented everything, every person she met, every mysterious thing. She was very consistent with her diary. And when she's in New York City, she reads those diaries again and she meets her past self again and discovers a bit more about herself by reading her past journals. Also, the quote in the back just kind of intrigued me a lot. It says, "Remember this, the world loves powerful men and hates powerful women. I know, believe me, I know." Next, I bought the book by Dolly Alderton, and it's just about her love life. Very excited, honestly, and maybe I get some tips on love in here, or some things I should not do with love. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm guessing it's going to be a bit darker too because it's about her teenage years and you know. Then I bought 2 books by Sayaka Murata. I hope I pronounced that name correctly. One I bought, Convenience Store Woman. Everybody has been raving about this book. It's about a 36-year-old woman who works at a convenience store, and it's kind of about her life there and what it's like to live at work at a convenience store. People coming in, people coming out all the time. She's worked there for 18 years so far, and her friends are confused why she still works here and why she's not married yet since she's 36. So, and then I got Life Ceremony. I literally bought this because of the cover, because why is there an eyeball in a candy bomb wrapper? Huh? That is so scary. But this is a collection of short stories, and I'm into short stories right now for no reason. So there is, let me see, 13 short stories in here. One of them is about an asexual couple who submit to radical medical procedures to conceive a longed for child, which that sounds super interesting. And then last but not least, I got You Will Never Be Forgotten. And these are 10 short stories yet again. And these stories include loneliness, loss, and gallows humor. I picked this up because of the loneliness and loss part, because I need to cry. There's one about an architect who draws inspiration for her work from her daughter with a birth defect. There is a wounded mother that raises the second incarnation of her child. Confused about that one. I'm intrigued. I am intrigued. Those are all the books I bought on my trip to London. I know it's a lot, and I know there's a lot of different genres in this book haul. I'm very excited, very intrigued, and I'm really hoping that I like all of these because I've been having a bad streak with books recently. I've been reading so many 1-star reads. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this haul video. If you read any of these, please tell me, and if you like them, please tell me too because I'm scared and intrigued. If you enjoyed this video, you can give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my content, you can subscribe. Have a great day, evening, nighttime, morning, whatever time zone you're in. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Read a book. Read any of these books if you own them, or buy a new book so you can read a new great book. Yeah, I like that idea. Again, have a great day, happy reading, and see you next time.